This is Idaho News 6 with Karen Lair, Don Nelson, and Roland Veris.
As the war in Ukraine rages, the conflict has forced millions from their homes, fueling the latest global refugee crisis. Thanks for joining us. I'm Karen Lair.
And I'm Don Nelson. Tonight, Idaho News 6 takes you on a deep dive into the plight of displaced people and the many ways Americans and the people of Idaho are stepping up to help. First, the national effort.
President Joe Biden announcing a second $800 million aid package for Ukraine. The shipment coming as Ukraine braces for a major Russian assault in its eastern region. At home, the White House also announcing the Uniting for Ukraine initiative, allowing U.S. citizens and groups to sponsor Ukrainian refugees who are seeking temporary refuge here in the States. The UN estimating the violence has displaced nearly 8 million Ukrainians from their homes. Every day we hear about the need for more weapons for Ukraine to fight off the Russians, but just as important is the humanitarian aid. Roland Veris shows us the local efforts underway to help.
A three-day effort to raise humanitarian aid for those on the ground in Ukraine is underway here at the Full Gospel Slavic Church. And when you see the video, of course, from overseas and what the people are going through in that war in Ukraine, in so many cases lucky to escape with their lives, you understand why so many people in our area are hoping to do their part to help. When war broke out halfway around the world, there was no guarantee that people everywhere in the U.S. would jump on the bandwagon to help out. But Idaho didn't hesitate.
We received over 3,000 boxes of supplies during our first drive. It's been absolutely, amazing to see our community come together.
It all starts with knowing this war is unjust and immoral. Daily pictures show people uprooted, their homes completely destroyed. But knowing we have neighbors like Natalia Barbin with direct ties to Ukraine makes the urgency that much greater.
I have actually personally never been back, but I still have grandparents there and many cousins and aunts and uncles.
Against all odds, the Ukrainians are defending their homeland, but the toll has been huge, the need gigantic.
Medical supplies continues to be a huge priority. Food is a high priority, especially ready to eat and easily prepared dry goods, as well as canned meats and fish.
And just about any donation can help. The personal ones are as symbolically important as the relief they provide.
And we even had a lady bring in quilts that they made with their group of friends, and they just wanted those items to go to the children of Ukraine so they can feel that they are loved. And to me, that's just the biggest act of kindness.
A full list of needed items can be found at fgschurch.org. If you happen to have a full pallet of medical supplies just hanging around, certainly send that. But much easier would be to send money. It always is the most helpful in cases like this. And again, they make it easy to donate money at fgschurch.org.
Again, that donation drive continues tomorrow from 12 to 8 and again on Saturday from 10 to 4. The Full Gospel Slavic Church is in Meridian off Lake Hazel Road.
The global outpouring of support for Ukraine has come from all quarters, including industry and even a British boat company. Piranha has been making whitewater kayaks for more than 50 years. And after surpassing an earlier goal, they've set out to raise $130,000 to support the people of Ukraine. To help get there, they're donating a limited run of the special edition kayaks to be raffled off. And one of them is right here in Boise at Idaho River Sports.
There are 7 boats coming over with the Ukraine colorway. We're one of the 7 and one of the 3 on the West Coast, so it feels like a huge privilege for us to be able to work with Piranha and be able to donate the profits from the ticket sales to the Ukrainians.
The Scorch X model was designed for the extreme by paddling legend Dave Fuseli in the Columbia River Gorge. It usually retails for about $1,800. Idaho River Sports is selling raffle tickets for $50 apiece. This weekend's events are just the start. You can find many ways to help, not just the people fleeing the crisis in Ukraine, but also Idaho's larger displaced and refugee population. The Idaho Office for Refugees is always looking for volunteers to serve as mentors. rent out housing, or provide transportation. Just fill out the volunteer form at the Idaho Office for Refugees website to find a place where you can help. Donations are key to funding the work of the Idaho's 3 resettlement agencies. The International Rescue Committee and the Agency for New Americans are both based in Boise. The College of Southern Idaho Refugee Program works out of Twin Falls. You can learn more and donate at agency websites. And finally, get connected. You can make friends and experience cultural perspectives at a number of community events hosted by former refugees and the resettlement community. Everything from virtual cooking classes to dance performances and storytelling events.
While the war continues in Ukraine, some are looking to call Idaho a safe home. But the refugee settlement program can take up to 2 years. So a new program was created to support Ukrainian refugees right here in Idaho.
These people have been through a lot, and it's very evident. We'll ask them, where are you from? And in some instances, you can just see their demeanor change, because even asking that question, all of a sudden they're reliving it in their minds. I believe that we have about 150 people in the state right now.
The Idaho Alliance for Ukrainian Refugees and Immigrants offers immediate support.
Anyone who has been displaced because of this invasion so far have not come to Idaho through refugee resettlement, but they have come through other means such as humanitarian parole.
Humanitarian parole allows people to temporarily enter the U.S. if they are experiencing an emergency or urgent humanitarian crisis back home. As of Monday, the Alliance was serving 77 people with 22 cases.
Many of them are coming here with one bag, in some instances. Sometimes it's a couple of suitcases.
Along with clothing, most need hygiene products and a bed to sleep in, and those needs could be long-term.
Although some of them will go back after the war is over, there's also a lot of people that have nothing to go back to. We currently have a family from Mariupol. That city is destroyed, and so going back for them is not an option.
We do know that the U.S. has committed to welcoming up to 100,000 displaced Ukrainians. That doesn't mean only through the refugee program. It could be through other sponsorships and alliances, but we are definitely ready to be here as a resource to help however we can and to continue growing resettlement, not just for people from Ukraine, but from all over the world who have been unfortunately displaced from violence in their homes countries.
Nicole Camarda, Idaho News 6.
Resettlement agencies play a crucial role in helping refugees and asylum seekers find their feet and integrate into the community. Naveed Musa came to Boise as a refugee in 2008 from Afghanistan. He's now a civil engineer and a U.S. citizen. He says resettlement agencies were essential when his family first arrived in the States.
For example, how to get enrolled in school, how to get enrolled in university, how to get good English classes, for example, from my mother.
In southern Idaho, a newer nonprofit called Everybody House is working with the CSI Refugee Office.
Just like any of us who move to a new place, there's a lot you got to figure out when you move someplace new. Where do you go to get your driver's license? How does this process work? All these different things.
One of their resources is a Phone Friends program that connects new Idahoans with other community members to make friends, preserve language skills, and learn new ones.
The language barriers are real. They're large, and if any of you have, bilingual or multilingual skills, man, that's helpful for getting us here. But right when people land, here in our community, they're in English classes regularly. They're building these skills, and so very quickly, that barrier becomes something that can be overcome.
You can learn more about the Phone Friends program at idahonews6.com.
Refugees who resettle here in the Boise area often fill a vital role in the community when it comes to employment. Take childcare, for example. As we've reported extensively, with the rising population in the Treasure Valley comes an increase in demand for childcare. Well, tonight we explore in depth the local program training refugee women to become independent business owners running their own in-home childcare centers.
I love the children.
Again.
Christine Casigua moved to Boise as a refugee from the Dominican Republic of Congo almost 9 years ago.
You can do like this.
And since 2017, she spent her days and nights caring for young kids.
I didn't expect this because when I came here, it was like, oh my goodness, I'm going in the USA. I am a black and white people. How will I be? What will I do? Thank you.
At first, Christine was a housekeeper for a local hotel, but then she learned about the Refugee Child Care Business Development Program, or RCBD.
Wow.
It's part of the Janus Economic Opportunity Program, aiming to empower underserved Idahoans.
We need to encourage new women to be able to open child cares. We shouldn't be discouraging it. We need more child care available in our community, in every population.
Do you need me to help you?
Yeah! The program helps refugee women get set up for stability and success, navigating every step of the way as they set up their own in-home businesses.
We invest anywhere from like $1,000 to $2,500, depending on their needs, in each person to set up their home, purchase educational materials, toys, art supplies, health and safety, all the things that are required to, pass inspections, the licensing, the background checks, etc.
At most, Christine cares for 6 kids at a time, but unlike typical child care centers in the Treasure Valley, she offers care around the clock.
We work 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, 24/7.
So they might have 6 children during the day and then some others on the weekends, overnights, evenings, etc.
Many, including Christine's, also offer transportation.
Sorry, baby.
Along with the typical playtime and snack time, Christine incorporates lessons in their native language of Swahili.
So even if they talk to their grandma, they can understand some words.
An atmosphere focused on culture and comfort, evolving into an extended family.
Please don't take. Even the children, they don't call me Christine, they call me grandma. Yeah. And their parents, they call me mama.
They are not only wanting to own their own businesses, but
Hey, Papa is out.
they are just thriving on having the opportunity to set their own goals and decide how they need to structure their business.
Now I can say, because of this job, I am independent, I'm happy, I have everything I wanted to have.
Karen Lair, Idaho News 6.
Earlier this year, we introduced you to B&D Foods, where we were in search of the infamous Idaho finger steaks. But we discovered something else when we were there. B&D Foods has a large number of refugee workers from dozens of countries from around the world. And as I found out, the company and its workers have formed a very special relationship that benefits them both.
We're very proud of it. We've had immigrants to this country, refugees primarily, since I've been here, which is the last 16 years.
The last time we saw Tim Anderson, he was giving us a tour of B&D Foods, which is known for its finger steaks. While I was there, Tim mentioned how proud he was of his company when it comes to hiring refugees.
We've had people from all over the world. We have people from 30 origin countries right now and display their flags. We celebrate it. We've had potlucks, and we get rice in every color of the rainbow.
Not only is B&D giving dozens of refugees good jobs, Anderson points out for many this is their roadmap to the American dream.
Absolutely. We've had people who get their first paycheck on our watch, and some people actually burst into tears recently. They were so happy to get their first paycheck.
But there's even more incentives.
And then as they gain proficiency with the language, they have opportunities to move up in the organization here, assume more responsibility, and be paid more.
And one of the ways to make that happen a little faster is by designating someone on the floor that can help out.
One of the new batch of refugees will stand out as having a competency with the English language that the others won't. So we'll typically start that way. Also use some of the local refugee agencies to help us find competent translators and interpreters.
One of those interpreters not only drives a forklift around the plant,
you have to translate everything.
He's a go-between between managers and other refugees.
And I can translate 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's that like?
It's English, French, and Swahili. I mean, Bembe. I can translate them.
Mr. Andre says B&D is a good company that cares about its workers, and he loves doing what he can to help out. I even learned a few things myself.
Most of countries in Africa speaking Swahili.
Most of the countries in Africa speak
Yeah.
Swahili. Okay. See, I'm learning. Don Nelson, Idaho News 6.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Scott Dorval. Lots of moisture on the map, but a lot of it is going to miss the Treasure Valley. Clearing over the weekend. I'll have all the details coming up next.
Meteorologist Scott Dorval with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Hello again, everyone. Temperatures in the mid-50s today. Then we had that rain come through during the evening, cooled things down a little bit. So it's been a little on the chilly side. Unsettled weather pattern continues, but those heavier showers have pushed off to the north and to the east. The drier weather is already moving into southwest Idaho. Still lingering showers up north and lingering showers to the south. Most of these are going to set up in the Magic Valley. You can see a plume of moisture here as we look at the latest satellite radar picture. This low pressure will dive to our south, and it's just a little void of cloud cover, which is going to give us some sunshine during the day tomorrow. I think we'll get a decent amount, and through Saturday and Sunday as well. Weekend forecast for the McCall area, increasing sunshine after a ½ inch of rain fell and melted a bunch of the snow in the McCall area early this morning. Here's my forecast coming up for the Treasure Valley for tomorrow. Increasing sunshine. It's going to be a windy afternoon, especially east of Boise. That's where we'll get the gust to 45 miles per hour. The Western Valley still gust to 30, 35, 38 in Ontario tomorrow morning with temperatures about 60 in Boise in the afternoon. Garden Valley near 60. Many mountain locations don't get the wind, but in the valleys along Highway 95 and Highway 55 we'll have a cold northerly wind and some snow flurries lingering as well. Ketchum could have some snow flurries. Stanley, similar story with temperatures only in the 40s. So my forecast for the Treasure Valley, the extended forecast for the weekend, is a lot of sunshine. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, but windy and chilly. On Saturday, we're still 61, but the lighter wind will make for a nice afternoon, although it will be cold in the morning at 35, and there could be frost on Sunday morning. Don't plant the warm season stuff just yet. Beautiful afternoon Sunday with sunshine in the mid-60s, and we go into the 70s on Monday.
We'll be right back. This is Idaho News 6.
While America was founded by immigrants, modern-day immigration and resettlement remain thorny political topics. And that's especially true in Idaho, and especially when it comes to the southern border. The latest battle is over a provision called Title 42. It's part of U.S. code dealing with public health, and it allows the Surgeon General, with the approval of the President, to prohibit immigration to prevent the spread of a communicable disease. During the pandemic, former President Donald Trump issued an expulsion order that allowed for the rapid deportation of hundreds of thousands of migrants. With masks off and the country moving forward, the Biden administration has announced it will lift that order next month. But with midterm elections on the horizon, he's facing pushback. Idaho's congressional senators have both publicly called on President Biden to extend Title 42 until 2025, claiming rescinding the order will lead to a surge of illegal immigration. Senator Mike Crapo writing, quote, reversing Title 42 without having a plan in place will only worsen what he calls an immigration crisis at the border. Further writing, quote, the administration must use all available tools to secure our border and enforce immigration laws. Senator Jim Risch goes further, writing, quote, the Biden administration's decision to revoke Title 42 in the midst of a legal immigration crisis has already sent the wrong message, threatened our national security, and before long will cause irreversible damage to our country. Governor Brad Little has also strongly opposed any Title 42 changes at the border. He and Attorney General Lawrence Wasden have added Idaho to the list of states who have joined a lawsuit challenging the Biden administration's plan to terminate Title 42 orders. Governor Little writing, quote, the Trump administration invoked the Title 42 restrictions to protect the American people, and it worked. He says extending Title 42 orders is part of a 10-point plan he and other Republican governors previously submitted to the Biden administration. Little, who is running to retain his office, has made border security a pillar of his campaign efforts, including the launch of Operation Esto Perpetua, an effort aimed at denting the flow of illegal drugs into Idaho. Even before issuing his Title 42 order, Former President Donald Trump had already clamped down on immigration, first with a ban that barred people from 7 predominantly Muslim countries from visiting the U.S. And then in 2017, Mr. Trump cut the number of refugees allowed into the U.S. by half. The decision had ramifications here in Boise. The drop in cases meant a drop in federal funding for groups that help resettle refugees. And shortly thereafter, the nonprofit group World Relief shuttered its office in Boise.
Get the latest from Idaho News 6 anytime. We'll be right back. The Allergy Report, brought to you by Boise Valley Asthma and Allergy.
All right, the pollen count went from high yesterday right back up into the extreme category, 330. It's all that tree pollen again. This is cottonwood juniper and this is ash down here at 10. So 330 in the extreme category now. With the wind tomorrow, it may stay this way right through the weekend.
Idaho has a long history of welcoming refugees that extends back long before recent conflicts in Ukraine and Afghanistan. Decades ago, Idaho became a safe haven and new home for Bosnian families fleeing violence. We wrap up tonight with a story from our Stephanie Garibay. She shares how one of those infant refugees grew up in the Gem State and became a citizen, casting her first vote in elections just last fall.
To me, it's a big step. It really is. I'm just thankful that I can take this opportunity as my first time as an American citizen and just vote. Like, it just feels so good. Like, I just have this good energy. I mean, it's like, just do it. Like, what is there like to be scared about?
Amra Muic was born in Bosnia, but her family fled to the U.S. when she was only 2 months old because of an ongoing war. Now at 19 years old, Amra is voting for the first time.
But coming here has been super, it's just a big toll on me. Like, coming here, realizing what I have and what I didn't have there, or what my parents didn't have there. Coming in the United States is like, whoa, you have food. Whoa, you have a home. Like, you just have so many things that you could be thankful for, but people take that for granted.
And she says voting is one of the things she is grateful for, and wanting to see change is what encouraged her to take that step.
Let your voices be heard. It matters. It really does. And even if you don't think it does, it really does. You know, get out there and show them like who you are and just vote, because it really could make a really big change. Even just one simple vote could make a change in today's society.
In Twin Falls, Stephanie Garibay, Idaho News 6.
The Idaho News 6 Tower Cam Network is sponsored by Bronco Motors Hyundai.